But yeah, we're going to be reacting to Aussie Rednecks, aka Bogans. Let's see what we got. So he's got a tally. This guy's been pulled over by the cops acting like a knob. Oh, this is waiting for a mate guy. This is pretty fast paced right now, Damos. This whole video fast paced. Smashing the beer bottle on the... Yeah, that's pretty Bogan. Damo, is this whole video this fast paced? Because I kind of feel like right now I need to be like a Johnny Five Sumbish, where I'm like input. But please tell me that they're paced out a little bit from here. Let's have a look. Damn it, this is hard to keep up with. This is like if you're about to die and your whole life is flashing before your eyes. That's what this is feeling like right now. That was only the intro, okay.
One of the most important parts about Australia are the native animals. Animals such as kangaroos, koalas, wombats, dingoes, maggots, just to name a few. A unique collection of native...
Look at this. I don't know if you in America have these, but these are called ibises. They're also known as bin birds. This is probably what you would call the bogan, but of like the animal kingdom. These are really dirty birds, they're unclean, and the only food they seem to eat comes from like the cafe garbage bin around the back. These are one of the most disgusting animals in the animal kingdom. We call them bin birds. Yes,
from the rest of the world.
They're bin birds.
In today's video, we'll be focusing
bin
on what is
chicken
arguably
as well.
the most important native species in all of Australia. And if you've read the title of this video, you'll already know that that species is the bogan. As I mentioned before, the bogan is native to Australia and shares a lot of DNA with the American redneck.
There you
but
go.
Just because these two creatures share a lot of DNA doesn't mean that they're anything alike. So in this video, I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about the different types of bogans, where to find them, and how to spot them.
Did you see how there was a map of Bali up there before? But Bali is kind of like Australia #2. Like Bali is an island in Indonesia, but basically Australians all go to Bali because the cost of a vacation in Bali is actually cheaper than having a staycation in Australia. So an Aussie, someone on the dole can save up their money and still spend like a few $100s to go to Bali for like 4 or 5 nights with accommodation return trip and have a holiday overseas in a tropical island, compared to Australia where you will spend maybe like 1 night in a hotel in Adelaide for the same money and risk getting shot. So yes, we're going to call Bali Australia #2.
We'll start off by answering the question, what is a bogan? A bogan is a subspecies of human that can be found in every town, city and corner of the Australian continent. Usually spotted driving a Holden Commodore with a red flannelette shirt on, wearing footy shorts, thongs and speed dealer sunglasses topped off with a dodgy mullet. The bogan is a truly unique creature. Some hobbies of the bogan include drinking,
well, this old guy's a legend on TikTok.
And all those hobbies that I just mentioned are entirely funded by Centrelink.
Yeah. So there we go. I'll just skip this ad and then I'll continue. I'll get YouTube red, so this won't be a problem anymore. We'll skip the ad.
So now that you sort of know what a bogan is, we're going to get into where you can find them.
Okay.
Bogans have many different habitats, which means that if you want to go find one, there's many different places where you can go looking. But thanks to my PhD
I'm going to break down the ones that I find interesting.
Over the years, while I've been studying this native Australian creature...
For those of you in America, for those of you in America who don't know what this is, what he's drinking from is a goon sack. So, going back to my 12-year-old self, when I'd stay over at my friend's place, and mum and dad would go out to play, so to speak. She was a little bit of a low-key alcoholic. She would have these wine foil bags in the fridge. This was one of my first ever experiences with alcohol. It's what we call a goon sack. It's also a cheap way to get drunk in Australia, at least it used to be. if you're on unemployment benefits. Unfortunately, no alcohol is cheap in Australia anymore, but back in the 90s, a goon sack was heaven for those with a low income.
I've come up with a list of places where you're most likely to find a bogan in their natural habitat. First up, we have summer gnats. It's no secret that bogans love burnouts. And
yeah, we love the burnouts.
Glass barbecue, they're out there smoking tyres. Whether it's a $200 AU Falcon with no rear brakes or a $200,000 HSV Maloo, there's nothing a bogan loves more than a good burnout.
Dude, you know what? A lot of Aussies will spend like $30,000, $40,000 on like a Commodore back in the day that they couldn't even afford once they put all the customizational pieces on it. And they're probably paying that sumbitch off for like 10 years. Okay, slight exaggeration, about 5 years. But by the time they do all the burnouts and fishies and all the drag racing with it, it's ruined after a year. And then these bogans are paying off the motherfucker for over 4 years afterwards. Not the brightest sparks in the freaking light bulb carton, just saying.
When Summer Nats is on in Canberra, hundreds of thousands of bogans make the annual pilgrimage down to the Holy Lands to get a piece of the action.
Oh, shoeies! Look at that!
Just as common for bogan spotting is Bathurst. Just like Summer Nats, Bathurst is held once every year and has the three things that all bogans need: Holden, sort of, Ford, and alcohol.
You know what? Bathurst is not what it used to be now that it's not outright Holden versus Ford anymore. But Bathurst is kind of like the Aussie version, I guess you could say, of like the Daytona 500 or the Daytona USA or the Indianapolis 500, excuse me. It's a national race where all these stock cars basically race around Mount Panorama. And it brings people over from all over Australia, bogans from all over Australia, to camp on the grounds and watch the event all weekend long. It's a very special race. And honestly, the biggest thing about it, it's just an excuse to get pissed and talk a lot of shit. So that's our big race every year.
2023's Bathurst has came and went. And as per usual, with it came some great bogan moments.
Yeah, look at this.
A common location for bogan congregation is Bali.
Yeah,
cheap beer, cheap cigarettes, and only a 50% chance you're going to end up with food poisoning. Bali is the ultimate destination for a bogan holiday. All a bogan needs to be happy is cheap alcohol, cheap cigarettes, cool clothes like this that they can get from the link in the description, and easy access to anything with an engine.
Yeah. And again, all this stuff, I mean, I don't know about the engine side of things, but with that being said, scooter rental, I'm going to assume, is very cheap in Bali. But everything else, smokes, alcohol, going out, food, bazillion times cheaper than what it is in Australia. So like I said, like Bali is just so much cheaper to have a vacation than even just going up the road in our own country. So that's why we're going to have to start calling Bali Australia number 2.
And luckily enough for Australia's bogan population, Bali has all three readily available. And that, of course, means a whole lot of this.
You gonna do those helmets up?
Oi, mate! Fucking how you going?
Are you right to drive? No. What are you doing driving the bike? I'm blind.
Now, some other places you also spot bogans back in the homeland include the Pokies, the pub, the Pokies room at the pub, Dan Murphy's, the back of a divvy van, and of course, Centrelink.
Yeah, Centrelink. Centrelink is basically our version of Social Security. These guys are basically getting their fortnightly payment from the Centrelink so they don't have to work. That's essentially what's happening here.
So now you're clued up on what a bogan is and where to find them. But there's a lot more to the bogan species than just beer and burnouts. But just like how a bogan is an offshoot of the human species, there are many different offshoots from the bogan species.
Eric just asked me what's a pokies. Oh no, I'll help you out, brother. So a pokey is basically an Aussie abbreviation for a poker machine, like you have at the casinos in Vegas. Don't forget, Australians cut words in half and sometimes add like an O or an IE at the end or another letter, so to speak. That's just how we speak. What you guys in America are going to find fascinating is that depending on the state, most pubs in our countries have poker machines. They're readily available. Like, everyone has got access to instant gambling in Australia, between pokies and sports betting and the TIB with the horses. Every pub you can pretty much gamble on the horses as well. So yeah, like a lot of tradies will basically work a really hard week. The Bogan tradies will work like 50, 60 hours. I'm not saying all tradies are Bogan. I'm talking about the Bogan in particular tradies. They'll work like 40, 50, even 60 hours a week, especially the apprentices. And what happens is they'll get paid fuck all for their work at that point in their life. So what they'll do is they'll go to the pub, get pissed after work, and then try their luck and put their whole paycheck into the poker machine and hopefully double it in the hopes they can live a better week. That's essentially what is happening in our country. Damo, tell me when I'm telling lies.
When it comes to bogans, there are many different types. The first type of bogan that we're going to be getting into is the stereotypical bogan. This is the sort of bogan who wears nothing but flannelette shirts and footy shorts, lives off Centrelink and has little to no teeth. There has been many documentaries made
We don't
about
have dental plans over here.
bogan. Some of the most notable ones include Housos, Bogan Hunters, and A Current Affair.
Oh,
The
A Current
easiest
Affair
place
is
to find
great.
A stereotypical bogan is at the front of Dan Murphy's at 8.
Okay, just in case you want to know what Dan Murphy's is, it's like a big supermarket, but for booze. And so just imagine a big supermarket and something that size, but something that only sells alcohol. So it's basically like a double XL bottle shop, but it's a great place. Like, I mean, if there's anywhere that you were going to find Foster's beer in the last 30 years, it would only be in a venue like this. Also, all your import beer, whiskey, whatever. Any alcohol that you could dream of, to a point, will be inside of Dan Murphy's.
8 a.m. on a
For my
Wednesday.
friends in America.
These sort of bogans spend all their money on alcohol, child support, and hooning fines. And once in a blue moon, where they manage to save up $500 on the side, they get straight onto Facebook Marketplace, buy a brand new second-hand VT Commodore, weld the diff, and add to their collection of hooning fines.
I'm feeling really, really old now, because in my time, if you had a spare few bucks, you'd be either getting a VK Commodore, a VL Commodore, or a VN Commodore. I've actually had 2 VN Commodores, and then when I got a little bit older, I finally got a VS Commodore, and after having the VS, I thought I was king shit. But anyway, yes.
Stereotypical bogan lives a simple life. As I mentioned before, as long as they have access to alcohol, cigarettes, and anything
That's
that they
terrible.
can do a burnout in, they'll be happy as Larry. So with that being said, we'll get into our next type of bogan.
Okay.
And that is the cashed up bogan.
Ah.
Unlike the stereotypical bogan, the cashed up bogan has something called a job.
Yeah. You know, one thing I will say about Australia, at least until the last couple years, I'll say this about Australia to be fair, pre my Sharona 87, the pandemic. You didn't have to go to university for a degree. You could, like, shit kick for 5 years in a trade. Like carpentry, sparkies, electricians get paid big money here, you know, plumbing, things like that. And if you stuck it out for 5 years, and you were like fully qualified, you would get either a really big wage working for someone else, or you could start your own company, so to speak. And so you got these bogan guys doing a trade, so to speak, just as an example, who are earning like really, really fucking big money. Or working in the mines as well. The mines is also a popular job over here. So you got these bogans that are earning $2,000, even $3,000 a week. Not knowing what to do with their money. So again, it's probably gone piss, pokies, goon sacks, things like that, yada, yada, yada. Let's continue.
Slaying bricks, selling bricks, or performing open heart surgeries, cashed up bogans come in all shapes and sizes. You may be wondering what makes someone a cashed up bogan. And luckily for you, I have the answer to that question. There's only 2 criteria that you need to fill to be considered a cashed up bogan. The first one being having a job, and the second one being owning any turbocharged Falcon or V8 Commodore that's worth more than 25 grand. If you successfully fill these 2 criterias, it shows us that you worked hard, saved up your money, and still decided to buy one of the 2 bogan chariots.
Yeah, and when we talk about bogan chariots, we're not talking about getting a bank loan for that sumbitch. That just makes you a broke bogan. If you actually own the car outright, yeah, I would agree. That would make you a cashed up bogan. It's a pretty expensive car. And a pretty nice Aussie car too, or cars I should say.
The cashed up Bogan is a rare breed, and for the last few years of the production of the Ford Falcon and the Holden Commodore, the cashed up Bogans were the lifeline that Holden and Ford needed to buy their cars and delay the bankruptcy. You see, between 2013 and 2017, car prices were at an all-time low, and that was especially true for V8 Commodores and XR6.
No! No, that can't be right. People are trying to sell these cars for 28 bucks. The only way I could see this being possible is if there was some dude doing the uglies on his wife, and then she found out about it and wanted to get revenge, and then so she put up his car on Gumtree for next to nothing just to sell his car to get him back. That's the only way I could see this possible. I have bought a Ford Falcon before for $1,000, and it was at the time probably like a 15-year-old car and a piece of shit. So I actually don't know how this is even possible. I think this guy is taking the piss.
So naturally, it only made sense for all the other Bogans to buy the cheap second-hand ones for a few $1,000s, meaning that they had more money left over for VB and Winnie Blues, meaning that the only real customers Ford and Holden had for the cars was
my aunt
more
used
than
to make
60
me buy
grand,
those.
were the few and far between cashed-up Bogans who didn't already own a 79 Series Land Cruiser. But those days are over. These days, you'll find cashed-up Bogans driving around in a brand new Ram TRX, Chevy Silverado, LTZ, or occasionally a green VF Maloo. But
Damo says he thinks those cars that I saw before were on a lease basis. So that's, okay, fair enough. I've had a few whiskeys today. I'm getting my Bogan on myself. I probably missed that. Forgive me.
Now that we've explored both ends of the Bogan spectrum, we've got to look further into the middle. So that brings us on to the average
Pretty
Bogan.
much, Patrick.
The average Bogan falls smack bang in the middle of the stereotypical Bogan and the cashed up Bogan. You see, everyone has a little bit of Bogan.
That is the greatest Prime Minister of Australia to ever be a Prime Minister. And even if you were not a Labor Party supporter, Bob Hawke, the great Bob Hawke, I think, which was from, 1983, if I'm not mistaken, to 1990, 1991. He was a man of the people. When he wasn't in Parliament yelling at people, he was going to the cricket games, and he was actually sculling beer with the people. He was a man of the people, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Aussie Bob Hawke, may he rest in peace, has a beer drinking world record. There's not too many people in our country that don't admire Bob Hawke. He is kind of like the JFK of Australia. But Bogan. Anyway, moving on.
For example, if you've ever actually enjoyed the taste of VB or unironically own a flannelette shirt, you fall onto the Bogan spectrum. And this is where the average Bogan comes in. The average Bogan may live a normal life with a normal job and be a somewhat respected member of society. But that doesn't mean that here and there they don't enjoy a bit of AU Falcon action, Centrelink rotations, VB annihilation, and a trip to Bali every couple of years. All in all, most of the time Bogans get a bad rap, but at the end of the day, there's not one person in the whole of Australia who lives a Bogan-free lifestyle.
That is true.
There's no one in Australia that can admit that there's nothing more fun than having a few drinks and riding a old dirt bike around someone's backyard.
Like I said before, guys, there is a little bit of Bogan in pretty much all Australians. Where my friend Corso comes from, the Adelaide Australians, they try to act a little bit more posh, but they're not hiding anything. Even Corso's got a Bogan side. I've seen him drink. He's got a Bogan side. Maybe not as much as me, but he got a Bogan side. But yes, the point is, I digress. The point is, every Australian has a little bit of Bogan in them. It just is what it is.
And on that note,
even
it's
my
time
dad,
to end. If you
he drinks
enjoyed this
VB.
video,
Oh,
make
my
sure
dad's
to
not
like,
Bogan, but he drinks
subscribe,
VB. That's pretty
comment,
Bogan.
And share if you'd like to hear more teachings from the prophet of Yorak Hunt. And as always, a shout out to everyone who made a donation to the charity of my bank account. And another special thanks to Gucci Slides for once again donating.
We'll leave that one there. Thank you so much for the video, Damo. That was absolutely freaking awesome. I appreciate it. What did you guys think? That was our first live reaction video. That was definitely a new type of content. That was really, really fun. I'm going to do one more today, Lamont. If you wanted to send me one, do you have a link? We could do yours, Lamont. What have you got for me today? There you go, Talk Show Tuesday, everyone. When I start getting more comfortable, I'll do even more. Thank you, James. Hey, it's not my birthday yet. Not my birthday yet. No, send it to me in the link, Lamont. I don't want you to DM. Guys, if you have a video, just copy and paste the link and send it to me so I can instantly put it in the browser. It's the easiest way to do it. Don't make me surf the net. Just send me the link. That's what I'm saying. Then I can just be like, click, send me the link in the chat, and then I can be like, click, and then immediately put the video on. Thank you, Payron. Fucking hell. My God, Lamont's gonna fucking kill me. I just called him Payron again. Oh my gosh, fuck me. I did it again, didn't I? He's gonna leave. Ah, Swati Pop.
Just
gonna get rid of this commercial and then we'll get started.
นุ่มชุ่มคอ
Starscream over 4K. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Alright, well hey, we got something here. Alright, so this is Lamont's video. And this is Starscream over 4K, whatever that means. Alright, let's go. We now return to oh, look at this. It's like a Transformers screen. So let's see where they're going with this. What is he laughing at? What am I missing? I don't know what's so funny. Alright. Oh, so it's a Transformers fan film. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I have to say, before we get into this, I'll admit, when I was a kid, I was only like a casual Transformers fan. I used to watch it from time to time. I wouldn't go as far as to say I've got any memorable episodes in my head. I did go see the movie, which I thought was pretty freaking cool, also very sad. So, I'm going to be watching this video today completely from the perspective of being a casual fan. And so, yeah, I'll let you know my thoughts as someone.
That Megatron summoned me in the middle of patrol.
His orders were to make sure you arrive safely.
It's always another sad, futile plan to destroy the Autobots. If I were leader, we would be ruling the galaxy by now.
We have arrived. Just keep on going, boss.
Yeah. There needs to be a synergy here, I think, with the Decepticons. Otherwise, they're never going to get anything done.
Who dares?
I do.
Megatron? What is the meaning of this?
I'm evaluating my new upgrade, Starscream. Seeing that you are Air Commander, I want you to be part of the assessment.
Part of the... Yes, Lord Megatron, but what would you have me do?
Your task is simply to... survive.
I mean, this is pretty cool, Lamont. I just don't have anything to say.
Let's see if you're as fast as your mouth.
I mean, I don't really have anything to say. Like, this is really, really cool. Especially that a fan put all this together. I couldn't even begin to imagine how much time and effort went into the animation. And I know that you're in that field. You're in the art field, Lamont, so I get it. But I just don't really have anything to say. Maybe I need to connect to the Transformers more.
You are a fool for fighting me in the skies, Megatron.
It's cool that we're watching this. I don't think I'm going to use the video, to be honest, Lamont, because I just don't have enough to react to. It's cool that we're putting it on. Don't forget, guys, I'm going to connect to the things that you get me to react to, or I can't use it as content.
Idiot!
Yeah. This is really cool. I've got to connect to it, otherwise I can't turn it into content for you all. This one is falling flat, but not because it's not an amazing video, it is. That's alright, I might have to filter the videos I do first, it's all good. Alright, no, that was, you know what, that was cool. I know, I couldn't even begin to imagine the amount of work that went into this. And I mean, it looks studio quality. You can't even tell the difference between this and like a studio cartoon. It's pretty good.
Get the med base, Holder. We have a war to win.
Does anyone else have a video? I mean, it's got to be something I can connect to and do a rundown to. Otherwise, it won't make a good reaction. Thank you very much. Well, hey, man, you know what? At least you gave us something to watch. That was pretty cool. I appreciate it. I do have time for one more. Otherwise, I'm going to have to bounce until the morning stream, everybody. But that was cool. That was cool. Do you think that was funny and wrong at the same time? Again, as I said, I watched Transformers as a kid, but very casually. I've got a confession, I probably watched GoBots more. But GoBots was on a lot in Aussie as well. Damo's got one more for me. Geez, Damo's on a roll today. Alright, let's see what Damo's got this time. I'm inclined to trust you for reaction videos, Damo, because you gave us a great one before. Let's see what you got this time. Nah, see... Nah, that's not going to work. As much as I love the Formula 1 demo, you have to... Formula 1's not going to connect to the casual audience. You guys need to pick videos that are going to connect to a majority of people because, you know, pop culture, everyday things, stuff like that. No one's going to connect to the Formula 1 shit. Anyway, I'm just going to bounce. You guys have a think about it. At least we got one good video out of that. But next week, I mean, take what I've said to heart. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to filter the videos first and come up with my own. So, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the love. You've been amazing. I'm going to be back on the morning. It's going to be a great time. I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas. I truly, truly do. It's been a great year. We're going to keep kicking some ass.